In case you didn't hear, my name's Mark Brown. I'm the Operations Section Chief for the Thomas incident. My day job is Deputy Fire Chief for the Marin County Fire Department. My role on this incident is really to be looking at the strategic planning of this incident. And if we're doing our job right, we're not looking one day in advance. We're looking several days, if not a week in advance. And we have an acronym that we like to use to help us remember how we should do this, and we call it PACE. We make a primary plan, an alternate plan, a contingency plan, and an emergency plan. And in this case, we've gone much deeper than those 4 steps. And you guys are a very well-informed and active community, and we think it's very important for you to understand all of those steps. And so as we engage any of those plans, nothing ever surprises you. So our primary plan is exactly what we're doing now, and that is putting firefighters and retardant drops right on the fire's edge and hold it where it's at. At this time, we are having success, but I don't think I need to tell you that we haven't always been successful with this fire. The weather conditions have been such it's made it very difficult, especially with some predicted wind events that could be coming up. We have to be planning for that. So the primary plan, like I said, is to continue to hold the fire exactly where it's at. An alternate plan is, if you've been watching, and I think you all have, this fire's been moving laterally across the slope of the front country, a half mile to a mile per operational period. But it's been doing it in such a way that we can be successful in defending the structures and creating fire line or controlled edge along the bottom. So if the weather cooperates and that fire continues that march across the front country at a half mile to a mile a day, and we can continue to put that fire line in and protect you guys, then that's going to be our plan. Then our contingency plan. And the contingency plan is the one that we think is very important for everyone in the community to understand, because it's going to put smoke in the air, and it's going to be us that's putting the smoke in the air. It's a very proactive approach, because we want to be able to control how the fire moves across the landscape. And we want to be able to do it under our conditions. So we have many subject matter experts that have been looking at this plan for the past several days. Several of the people have just gotten out of a helicopter after reconning the area that we're looking at. And we have numerous people on the ground. And believe me when I say that we are reaching across the state and bringing the best people to do this. And so we're talking about a firing operation. And this firing operation is in order for us to get a control line in place under our conditions, rather than waiting for a wind event to push this tremendous volume of fire that is on the hillside in an uncontrolled fashion. And when the wind starts pushing it, we can throw everything we have at it, and it's not going to do any good. So just to give you a thumbnail sketch of what we're looking at, you see this giant ball of fire here, right? Or line of fire. We have the Camino Cielo Ridge line. That's been a managed fuel break, as you as informed members of the community know, and we've improved it, and we're going to look to use that as a portion of our control line. And then we have the Gibraltar Fire Road coming down, which is another one of your fuels management projects that goes through the Hayescita and the T fire. You bring that line down, and then you come across the slope and connecting the dots, which is one of the terms we use, with either the defensible space that you've created at your homes, and then fuel management projects that you've had, and then our work going in and putting in hand line. And not only are we putting in the hand line, we're plumbing it with fire hose so that we have water on the fire's edge. This plan goes through several planning cycles, numerous subject matter experts looking at it, and then we make sure that our safety officers have looked at it and they agree that it is the right plan, and then all of our unified commanders look at it and make sure it's the right plan. So in a thumbnail sketch, what we would be doing is firing from about this area, bringing a little bit of fire down, and then we'll also bring some fire down from the top to tie in to where we had that little bit of a mid-slope firing operation, and we'll buffer this piece of line on the Gibraltar Fire Road. And the goal of that is if the fire starts running laterally across the slope, then it can't continue once it hits that line. We will also be bringing fire along the bottom of the slope and the top of the slope simultaneously. And that's to allow the fire to burn together, and we will keep us, by doing it simultaneously across the bottom and the top, the fire doesn't run all the way up to the top so fast that it sends a spot fire over the side and gets into the Santa Ynez drainage. And conversely, that there's not so much fire up above that a downslope wind would push the fire right past our lines. And then we would bring our firing operations to the edge of the black here, and an edge of the burned edge, and the end of the fire burned edge here. So that's our firing plan. And I want to emphasize that is Plan C. Plan A is to hold the fire exactly where it's at. Plan B is to let it progress slowly across the hillside, and we control the bottom edge and look for opportunities to continue to tie it into the ridgeline. Plan C is that firing operation I just discussed. And then when I told you we have an E, or emergency, we have multiple emergency plans. The one that affects the community is that we have approximately 400 fire engines staggered throughout the communities, and it would be doing point-to-point structure defense. We also have Highway 154 off the map that we have been preparing so that if the fire does make a hard run at that, we can do a similar firing plan that I just described along Gibraltar and along the bottom, along Highway 154 and up through Windy Gap. We're also concerned about the piece of fire that's in the Santa Ynez drainage. You can see what a great job the Zaka Fire has done in containing the fire. That the shape right here is not an accident. We're going to continue to use that as an anchor point for us. And we have the Gibraltar Fire Road on the other side of the Camino Cielo tying into the reservoir. We would do a similar firing operation there to stop that spread so we can hold it there. And then our contingency plan behind that is the Windy Gap Fire Road. And that is, in a nutshell, our strategic plan for this incident.